Oh, I'm on air. Good evening and welcome to the Amateur TV net. I pressed the wrong button and it came up more suddenly than I expected. Good evening, I'm Neil, VK3BCU, net controller for this evening. And we've got quite a few stations that have checked in this evening that are watching. 3YLH, 3BVR, 3ZAQ, Colin VK3HBF, who I believe is watching, and I met at the train and model show on the weekend, so it was really good to catch up with Colin. Also Mark VK3PI, VK3CSJ, VK3TTL and VK3VRS. They all checked in earlier today and are watching, and we currently have 12 watching on Ian's YouTube feed. Well, over the weekend, I, with Peter Cousins and a few others, went to the train and hobby show, and it was a really good weekend. We met up with quite a few amateurs, and some of the amateurs we actually caught up with were Fred 3ZAQ, Bob VK3BVR, Steve VK3TTL, Vince VK3YVS, and Colin VK3HBF. So it was really good to catch up with those guys. There were some others, but I didn't quite catch their call signs. A lot of amateurs go to those shows, which is really good. You can watch the net through VK3RTV using a set-top box, which are really cheap, and a little vertical 400 meg antenna. So really easy to watch the repeater and watch the net on Tuesday night. Or you can watch the YouTube feed, which Ian supplies, VK3QL, or Richard's VK3VRS's Discord feed. So what else have we got? Okay, now first up will be Peter VK3BFG. I see he's got his logo up already. And Peter, you'll be putting it across to Mark VK3JMA. G'day there, Mark. It's been a while since we've seen you. And then Mark, if you could put it straight back to me, and we'll call in the stations on RTV too. So everyone get ready to switch across to RTV1 right now, and look out for Peter.
Okay, I think we're rolling. We should have audio there. With a bit of luck. Good evening, I'm Peter, VK3BFG, and I'm in Wantirna South, as most of you probably know. Yes, well, I was certainly with Neil at the Train and Hobby Show over the weekend. For us it was 3 days, Friday sort of late morning and stroke afternoon to set up, and then Saturday and Sunday for the show. And it's obviously a huge effort to put on a show like that, and Richard should be congratulated for what he's achieved, and with Ian, I believe, is his other half. But I suspect that he may be a little bit shy of other helpers, but that's the way things go, I guess, in those sorts of things. So as far as I could see, there was lots of people there both days. So hopefully, Richard, you've been able to cover your costs, which would be really good. Neil and I had a chat during the couple of days, and we decided that next year we wouldn't go live on RTV because it didn't seem to resonate too much with people. What we can do is receive very easily, and that could be just a small little antenna inside through the window, and get other members of the Melbourne ATV group to put up video, and also then port that through the Sandown system, and also obviously train and other hobby related videos as well. So that would be our plan if the show is on next year. I presume that it is. So there we are. This afternoon I received the new RF module, which is the one with the flat top. It didn't last very long. That's what's inside them, and I can't really find the type number of the IC that's there, and there's obviously there's a little preamp there as well and some regulators, but it may be fixable. I certainly won't throw it away, but it just went short and started, well, the power supplies went into limiting, so yeah. Anyway, I did get some other PAs that I've got around the place and just tested them while I was doing it. So I do have actually three 23 SEMS PAs that I can use with either the SR systems or the ports down. So I've got plenty of spares there. While we're at the show, Vince VK3 YVS came around and was chatting with us for quite some time, and in fact helped us out with all the gear, which was really, really great. But on the Sunday, he brought in his old AM transmitter, which was an old Ian Davis model type device. And it was obviously fairly old and fairly dusty. So we put it on display there, and we had all the other stuff there, which was looking really nice. But the main attraction was the old PA, and the rest of the fancy stuff was not nearly as attractive. So that sort of led us on a little bit of path down the past, and some of you will remember that as my call sign from the black and white days. That was actually made by the head of art at Box Hill Tech back many, many years ago. So I've kept it, and it still looks okay. And also, I've got the DJ4 boards out. And I'll show you the boards for those of you that haven't seen them. They're not in great shape, but they could very easily be assembled. And it was a very innovative system. It was an IF modulated scenario where there was a series transistor modulator at 38.9 megs, and there was also then a sound carrier board that went with that, and those two things went to a form of mixer, and then there was a local oscillator board, and then there was a PA board. And the original PA board was supposed to be 100 milliwatts, but none of us could ever get anything like that over it. I think the best we did was about a milliwatt. But then later on, a better version of the PA with a nicer shot gearing mixer in it, and it worked a lot better. But it's interesting just to look at what we had to do there to achieve just a few milliwatts at the end. There was probably, I think that was about 50 milliwatts or so. Now we just got a little module, and suddenly we're up to 5 or 10 watts or whatever. So sorry about the shaky cam, but we'll just give you a quick look at the modules. All right, we get that around so I can see it. This module here is the 38.9 meg series modulator. 38.9 crystal there, just a little RF amp there, another small one there. And then that goes around to this board, which is a vestigial sideband filter. And I put that up on the spec can today, the output here, and it looked pretty good. So anyway, further on, this one is the sound carrier board. Again, 33 megs, that was 33.5 or something like that. It was free running, but it did have an AFC loop that you could interpret, which is something that came in later in the series of articles. That's an RIF system, which I don't think I'll bother putting in. And there's the local oscillator chain. We can do that in one hit these days, but there it was, a series of crystal oscillator and a series of amplifiers to the end. And then we go into the mixer linear, and you can see the shot gearing mixer there, which is very nice. The PCB was quite nice, but it was basically all built dirty, which is not a bad technique. In fact, the Hirschman transmitter that we purchased years ago had similar techniques, beautifully made, and it was all similar to this, but better. So I'm going to patch this together, and next week we can probably show you an AM modulated transmitter that was used some years ago by many of us. So that's about it for me for tonight. I think I've covered everything. Oh yeah, just one more thing. The SRT is working thanks to Phil. So that's really good. And people who are unable to get in for various reasons can now SRT in, and hopefully we might get our Sydney people back. Anyway, it's over to Mark, VK3JMA. So I'll just put the shaky cam down over here. I don't want to drop it. And key off. So I'm running on 1246 Mark. So if you run a transmitter up right now, we should have a very smooth changeover. So VK3JMA to take it. This is VK3B.
Hang on. Right, so I've got audio. I'm happy with that. Yeah, good one, Pete. I like those boards. That's I was even around when they were made like that. Anyway, I've got a video for tonight. Been playing around with OBS and recording things, so learning. Hopefully audio's there. I'm sure you'll tell me if it's not. I'll just turn up 2 metres and that. Anyway, so before we go any further, let's start the video, and I hope this works. G'day, Mark here, VK3 Juliet Mike Alpha, and the latest rendition, you might not have seen the other videos because I haven't transmitted them, the latest rendition of my microwave portable system. It's modular, clips together. I designed it because I wanted ease of transportation. Hopefully I've achieved that. Anyway, cheap and nasty productions, here we go. So, it all consists of nice stand donated by Andy. Thank you very much, Andy. Nice and sturdy, heavy duty. Alright. Allows for azimuth. Lock it in place and elevation. Once you get a bit of weight on there, it's good. So, my last 905 system was set up for a tripod, like a surveyor's tripod. Fairly cumbersome, very heavy because it had the integrated 10 gig dish, which itself was quite heavy. That was this one here. So add that to the mix, and it was quite heavy. So anyway, what I've done now is I've lightened it, made it more modular, so it's sort of like clipped together, bolt together, well, not really bolt together, but clips together, and I can use it in a number of configurations. So we'll just go back to the mount. So on the back here, you see these little lugs. Well, that was the beginning of my design. And it consists of, and we'll show you down over here, So that's it. Latest additions, these stands at the end, the legs. So they actually come off, but that's my 2 metres, if you like, through to 10 gig system for portable use. I'm not chasing DX. Just like to go to a hilltop and try and have some contacts. So, all in all, get the camera ready. Hopefully it all works out. All in all, I won't turn my back to you. I'll spin this around. Alright, so pick up the beastie. And we drop it on. Done. That's it. Well, not really done. That's the worst part done. Alright. Rotates. We've got elevation up and down. Legs come out. Other leg comes out. Probably don't really have to take them out, but hey. Alright. I suppose this stops us hitting ourselves as we go around, moving around. Alright, so, with a bit of an angle, turn it round. Nice. Smooth movement, except it gets in the toolbox, gets in the way, won't worry about that. And of course you've got the elevation. Not that you need that much elevation, but you get the idea. Hopefully the audio's okay. I only have the webcam mic working. Alright, so 10 gigs. Multiple antennas. So this is a 10 gig feed. It's got a transition here. And that just clips on like that. Done. Go around the back of the go around the back, around here. See if we can bring this around a bit more. Yep, okay. Transitions in there. 10 gig coax into the transition, away you go. Done. 905 head there, 905 head over a table, really doesn't matter. What I've also done here, and I'll have to up the camera a little bit, a bit of height. You might not see it, but just here, I'll actually see if I turn it around, bit of a box section. And what that's for me putting other antennas on. 3.4 gig 30 dB dish. Watching the other ones up here. There you go. Ready for some high gain work at 3.4 gigs. 5 gigs, 2.4, 24 gigs. You never know. But also, at the top of that, and I'm not going to be able to do it here in the garage, we've got this. Now, because on our mad days we use 439, some would say we shouldn't, some would say we should use 2 metres SSB to liaise, but anyway, so that goes into the top of that, right up here, dual band vertical, off it goes, that's for liaison. Won't put that in, haven't got the room. Also have, obviously, just another blank bit of metal that goes into where that is, so I can actually put 2 metre, 70 centimetre beam if I like. Obviously it's not fixed there, it would be a bit awkward to store, so I will assemble that on the day, and away you go. Just bear with me, live TV, recorded live TV. Let's just get this out of the way. Okay. Move the dish out the way, we'll sort that out later. That's going to be the base system. take the other dishes if need be. But now, another interesting part, bit of an angle, I reckon. Yeah. Bring the camera down. Alright, so I've established a 10 gig contact now. I've established a good 10 gig contact. Elevation, azimuth, all correct. Nice signals. I'd like to see if I can improve that. So, disconnect the coax, of course, take that dish off. Alright. Now I've got the options of this little one, which will probably be probably a little bit poorer than that first dish performance, I reckon. That goes in there. My feed, stand by. Feed. Now, Alan XPD assisted me in tuning one of these. This isn't it. My other one's in a cupboard, but very similar. Tuned it down to 10 gigs. Yet to try it out, see if it works. That just slips in the back. Slips in the back through the hole in the dish, like that. Locks in place. There you go, 10 gig feed. That's horizontal polarisation. If you wanted to, vertical polarisation, just twist it back and forth. Done. Now, okay, so try that dish. Oh, still getting good 10 gig contacts. Let's have another go. So we get rid of the feed. We get rid of the dish. Sorry about my back. The big guns. Exactly the same mounting system. Clips onto the feed. It does shadow the other one, so obviously this is only for 10 gig QSOs. Feed. Plugs in the back. Just as before. I won't put it all the way in. And away you go. 4-foot, 10 gig. Hopefully improves the signals a little bit. Quite quick. The biggest thing to transport, all this fits in my car. Dish has to go on the roof of the car. Can't do much about that, obviously, size-wise, but I like the idea. EME. One day, more power, pointed up. Can't really track the moon, but yeah, be ideal, wouldn't it? Packing up basically the reverse of everything else. Stand by while I put this away. Take the dish off, put it away, put it somewhere. Take the take the dish off. Lift this off, put the stands on, lift it off, put it down, pack it away, done. Doesn't take long at all actually, quite happy. It does also have a little bit close to the cupboards there, okay. A 3.4 gig transverter. Now I'll bring the camera up. This has got a little bit of, okay, watch the USB cable. Alright, so 3.4 gig transverter, SG Labs inside a die-cast box, hopefully waterproof. There is a triplexer. So what I've done is I've used the 270 and 1200 meg output of the 905 into a triplexer, splitting it off into 1200, 70 and 2 metres. 2 metres, 70, 1200, other way around. 2 metres I've just got in a dummy load for now. I'm not using that, so I figured I'd just put it there to stop anything interacting. Of course, 1200 megs goes off to the 1200 meg panel there, which is that little blue cable there, and then of course UHF goes into the transverter. Sorry about my camera work, it is Cheap and Nasty Productions. Away you go. Change that to 70 centimetres. Tune the frequency, drop the power down naturally, and away you go. Some people say to put a 3 dB attenuator there. 905 does 10 watts of UHF. if you put a 3 dB attenuator there, you're protecting this with only the 5 watts, and all you're doing is losing 3 dB. But I just remember to turn the power down. If I don't, well, that's my bad, isn't it? All right, that is about it. Of course, another thing I could do is, in the end here, I could actually have more adapters to come out for other things. It's fairly modular. The gain's not so good. What have I got? 18 dB on the 3.4 gig panel, to about 9 to 12 on the panel antenna for 1200. 2.4 is 21, I think, and 5.8 is 23 dB. I do have a 25 dB. It's a little bit bigger. It would fit there nicely, but it's only 2 dB. Anyway, that's it. Thank you very much. This is VK3 Juliet Mike Alpha signing off. Okay, that's it. Interesting side note, that last splash screen of Cheap and Nasty Productions was actually produced by ChatGPT. I simply asked it to produce me a widescreen splash screen of Cheap and Nasty Productions by VK3 Joe May, and it generated the image. So yeah, quite happy with that. All right. I think that's about it. I'll put it back to Neil, VK3 BCU, and I think he's up there now chatting over top of me. Anyway, I'll pass it back.
Hello there, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and children. This emblem that you've just seen is tonight the symbol of a historic occasion, the opening of the national television service.
Right. Thanks, Neil and Mark and Peter, of course, for the earlier segments. All right. Now that dish Swiss knife arrangement is brilliant. Great work there, Mark. That should be of great interest to the local guys. I think you'll have a big crowd gathering around when the next Mad weekend is on, which I believe is next week. So we look forward to the results and reports from that. And great work on the. I might just do something there. That's better. Unfortunately, people see me better when I do that, but that's the cost of good lighting. Yeah, Peter's resurrection of the analogue system. That was before my time in terms of ATV. I was certainly around in those days, but not working in that RF field. So yeah, I'll watch with great interest as that all comes together. All right, tonight I'll keep moving. Says he thinking about what's the next thing? Yes, the EMDRC boot sale is on. So it's on the Sunday the 30th of March. It starts at 10 o'clock, free entry. So yeah, it's in a couple of weeks. And yeah, there's always lots of bargains there. So do recommend people try and move along to that. Right, the next segment is a lift out of a presentation that John G7JTT did on OBS. It's just short, but he's a great one for sort of on the spot. He was thrown in the spotlight, as it were, to demonstrate Blade. I think it's called OBS Blade. In fact, it's software. It's available for Android and iOS phones, and so you can reuse old phones to control OBS in this case. There are similar products available for vMix too, which I might demonstrate if roughly. It won't be as smooth as John's, that's for sure. But anyway, well, let's see what John has got to tell us about OBS Blade.
When you put it on there, there's the program running. It finds the one on there. The password it's saved is the previous. It's now connected. Let me just save that. Just call it temp a minute. Save. And that's what you've, as I said the other day, that's what you've got. So you've got all the various buttons on there, camera, and you can sort of go to test card, back to camera, screen capture, what else have we got there? Video, test. So there's test, for example. There were some things I was checking to see what worked. Browser, telling me I've got to do it. But anyway, you've got all the various bits on there. But if I go back to camera, the nice thing is you haven't got to look in your scenes folder to try and find it. All your scenes are there. You just click on the various ones. But what you can do is within the actual scene, you can see all the various bits that you've got. So all I've got at the moment is front camera switched on, because everything else is switched off. But you can see on there, everything's available. So an old phone, whether it be Android or iOS, whatever, or a tablet, will be absolutely ideal for this, because you could literally just have it there, and it means that you can minimise. See, that's OBS minimised now, so my screen is totally clutter-free, and yet I'm still able to put test cards up at the end of a transmission, for example, which, you know, is pretty cool, isn't it? So, but yeah, absolutely brilliant piece of software, I think. And all those people that just spent lots and lots of money on those button things, whatever they're called, I can't remember what they're called now. The can't remember, but anyway, whatever they're called, you know ones I mean. They've got the buttons that you just press it and it automatically goes to it. All of us have got hundreds of phones sitting around the house doing absolutely nothing, so that would be absolutely ideal. Oh, it has to be on the same network, that's the only thing. So there you go. Right, back around to you, Colin. G4 KLB with a test card, G7JTT.
Yes, so that's the application as it presents on the Apple App Store. So, and the similar arrangement on Android, on the Android source of apps. So yeah, that's short and sweet on OBS Blade. And of course there are other versions of these sort of things. This is what's called a vMix control surface, can work on an iPad. So if you're looking, if you're looking for different ways of controlling things and don't want to spend a lot of money on things like Stream Decks, that's a good option. So if now this is all live, and I'm now playing with the live system, so there's a good chance I'll go off the air. In fact, I might go to the next segment. Yeah, I'll do that. So so if I select the next segment and preview it, which is there. So I've now selected 5. And I can now merge to that, that'll go to program as soon as I push that button, in theory.
Have you tried the repeater in the sky recently? let's have a look at the International Space Station passes for Melbourne over the next week.
Kilo 5 India Romeo Mobile, CQ. VK5 RR Mobile, VK3 ZAZ 5 and 9. K5 IR, VK5 Charlie Papa. VK6 Mike Juliet listening. VK6 Mike Juliet, VK3J 5 and 9 into Melbourne, over. VK3.
Right, and don't forget, Ham TV is on the horizon. Go to the BATC site, as on the bottom there, the BATC Wiki Ham TV site will give you lots of information on how you might receive Ham TV from the repeater when it becomes live. Great. All right, so yes, so that was the control surface, as I mentioned. I've run out of green screen coverage. That's why the screen gets covered off. So I've been sprung with bringing in the iPad from that side. I should bring it in from the other side, and then you won't see any things. So rather than buy some more green screen, I decided to just cut the live camera feed on that side. All right. The next thing is a quiz. Great. All right. Yes, I trust you went well on the quiz. The next thing I wanted to just mention again is the QO100 net, which is on at is on Fridays at 7 AM on Melbourne time, but you can catch it on the YouTube channel, my YouTube channel. The latest one, the last three actually are there. There's very interesting segments there. There's two segments that Simon did. It's the first time he appeared on that net, and he's working on some very interesting software which teams up with a Pluto and combines with software on a Windows platform. The aim is to have a transceiver for DATV, receiving and transmitting in the one chain, as it were, using the Pluto as the SDR. So yeah, a very interesting software. He's hoping to release it Easter. The version 1.0. It's going to be called, as I understand it, SDR television. So yeah, do keep an eye open for that, and if you're interested, by all means have a look at Simon's 2 segments on the recording, the recording of last Friday's, well, it's actually Thursday, the UK time, net. I might try and present some clips from that next week, just to sort of give people an idea of what's coming over the horizon. So the next thing is, if we look at the weather for the next few days coming up to the mad weekend, it's pretty ordinary, and of course the bow is not exactly exciting, so there's going to be not a lot of tropospheric conditions that are going to be useful, but there it is. Last weekend was good, but anyway, that's the way the cookie crumbles. Right, I'll just give you a second quiz because these are a little bit harder. Great. All right, there's a few other events coming up besides the EMDRC car boot sale. So if we have a look at those, there's the 3rd and 5th of May, the Bendigo Amateur Radio and Technology Fest. So that's certainly a big event that's being conducted over the weekend there. And Saturday the 5th of May is Moorabbin District Hamfest, Moorabbin. So that's always a pretty well attended affair and lots of interesting bargains there. Right, I'll finish my segment now and hand it over to Mick, VK3CH. I'll just finish with the roll call and Lucy saying goodbye to you all, and of course goodbye and thanks for watching from myself, VK3 Quebec Lima.
Seems to be a bit temperamental. All right, maybe we're holding. All right, I'll see how it goes and we'll continue. All right, Mick, VK3CH, we'll try and get rid of the telly from Doncaster. All right, I've got our running sheet here, so hopefully we'll stick to script. But what wasn't on the running sheet was, Mark JMA. What can I say from Waynesville? We're not worthy, we're not worthy. I don't think I'd be able to even carry that stuff, let alone fit it into the car. So well done. And yeah, when you decide to pull out the big guns, I do think you said, I'm just after local contacts. I think you're going to get a bit of DX somehow when the conditions are good with that setup for sure. But yeah, the sighting requirements, you might need a bit of a one of those geared sort of bed things to you know, get the station, but I'm sure you'll work it all out. All right, on other news, we've been reading the forums and looking at lots of stuff, and the computer that we've got had Windows 10 on it. And I've been reading that Microsoft are going to withdraw all updates and stuff from about October, which means that all the hackers will run amok and target that after that date. So I thought, well, I've got the laptop, and the laptop was sold as Windows 11, and I did install vMix on that, and it runs all happily on that. So I figured, well, if I bite the bullet and upgrade now, and I'm also find out what's going to work and not work. So with bated breath and after backing up all our files, we did the install, upgrade install. A lot of people say it's just a service pack for Windows 10. It's not really that much different. But anyway. So yeah, it all went well. Nothing lost. So I started up all my individual programs. Outlook wanted it had a dialog box, and eventually it worked. It initially didn't work. After a few seconds it came good. Same thing with Word. When you first started, there was a dialog box and a few seconds and it came good. Start vMix. vMix didn't want to start. What did it say? Hardware changes to this computer. Get a new key. I thought, uh-oh. So I thought what I'll do is I'll just relinquish the key and then say it's a new install. Like, you're allowed to have it on two devices. So the laptop's one and the computer's one. So I just relinquish the computer key and then sort of enabled it. And yes, it came good. So why I saw hardware changes when nothing had happened. So yeah, so a few seconds of heart trouble, but yeah, came good. So I think everything's good. All right, on a different thing, what else have we done? Yes, our the microwave dish, for you, some of you that might remember, when I go and adjust the tilt, there's a little screw on the top, and of course when it was on the ground that was okay. You know, you could get to the screw, but with it all now up on the roof of the car, I needed a better method adjusting it from the bottom. So what we've done now is 5:15 this afternoon, actually. I got a mate to weld that nut onto a hinge for me. And then what we've done now is the hinges are, I can see my bit of a mouse there. There's the screw that's been welded on, and these screws here are tightly locked, and there's screws underneath there that are tightly locked. And when you turn this little handle down here, of course, the thread will pass through the hole of the hinge, and this hinge will go up and down, pulling the dish up and down with it. And I think I've got another shot there, and there's a shot from the side. So there's the welded screw that won't move, but the thread passes through it, so that'll pull it up and down, and that one's just locked. And I used hinges, so as the angle changes and that turns a bit, that can turn in tandem with it, so things don't get tight. So that's on top of the car roof, so that's handy, and it's just high enough that when I have the lock up the screw, if it needs to be finger tight, I can have a spanner, you know, just either side, just to either that or that side to lock it up tight if need be, which I've only had to do in really strong wind, which has been twice. The Ballard Hamfest was one, and one time I was at King Lake. I think the last time I was at King Lake, it was pretty windy. So there you go. So that's the latest edition. So we are all ready for King Lake this Sunday. So yeah, we intend to go to the mad session. We've had a look at the weather. Should be okay. All right. Yes, Ian, you were mentioning about controlling vMix. You can control it with your iPhone. I do have that software. I've installed it. I haven't used it for so long, I forget how to do it. You can also make a keyboard do the same thing, you know, F1, F2, F3, whatever. Actually, you can assign it to any key on the keyboard you want. And once again, I did write about it in a copy of the Nevark News. I'd have to go back and look at it. I can't remember. The Stream Deck sort of does what I want to do. Although my Stream Deck buttons, some of them have jumped. I don't know why, so I might have to go back and sort of redo a few things. All right, that's about it for me this week. I think I'm handing it back to Neil. So, yep, we'll catch you all next week, hopefully. And, oh yeah, any of you guys with pictures from the Train and Hobby Show, just to specifically the amateur television setup, and if you want to write a little bit about it, I can put it in the newsletter that I produce. And yeah, that might be of interest to a few people. All right, we'll catch you guys next week.
Right. Wasn't quite the cutover I expected, but anyway, thanks Mick, that was good. And hopefully I'll be around for the Mad Day on the weekend. I'll probably go out with Robert 3KRD. That's it for this evening. Thanks everyone for watching. It's been a good session this evening. Very interesting from Mark there. As I said, I'm going to let some of the guys know to have a look at that. So I know how many we've got watching on Ian's YouTube. 15 at the moment. It was a little higher earlier. So thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you all next week. And also for the microwave guys, we'll see you on the weekend. Cheers.